and welcome to the Rob Harkavy interviews only on Outnews Global. Now, my next guest is one of the finest journalists working in Britain today, and when I became editor of Outnews Global, she was nothing but helpful and supportive to me, although I have to say, when she sub-edited a lot of my work, she would have made Stalin look like a soft-centered snowflake. Now, for the past 4 years, she's been the editor-in-chief of Diva magazine, and she is, of course, the most excellent Carrie Lyell. Hello, Carrie.
Hi, Rob, and thank you for that lovely introduction. That was very nice.
I know, it's all downhill from here. Now, I know you're on deadline for your September issue, so thanks for taking time out. Now, we must begin with the cataclysmic news that after 8 years at Diva, 4 years in the hot seat, you're moving on. Why?
Well, it's not been an easy decision at all. It's no secret that this is my dream job. I talk about that a lot. And in fact, a dream job is wrong in a way, because it's so much more than I could have ever dreamed. I always wanted to work in journalism. I knew that I wanted to write about LGBTQI issues. But to be in this position just felt like so unattainable. So it's been amazing to be with Diva for 8 years and to be editor for 4. I feel like I've been able to do so much in that time, and with the support of my team, and that's been fantastic. But things change and times change, and I think the pandemic sort of afforded me some time and space to think about what is this next chapter of my life? What does that look like? And what do I want to get out of it? And I felt like I wanted to do more for our community. I wanted to sort of be in the trenches a little bit. And so was looking for opportunities to really sort of get stuck in. And I found this role I was offered this role with Mermaids, which I'm sure we'll talk some more about in a bit. It just felt like a good fit for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to come to that in a minute, but your time at Diva has produced some of the finest, most iconic issues in, I think, 27 years of the magazine. Now, my back of the envelope calculations tell me that you've been in charge for about 50 issues, give or take. Is there any particular edition of Diva that stands out for you?
It's hard to pick a favorite. They're like my children, I suppose. But definitely stories where we were there, we were kind of on the ground. I always remember going to the TV set of The Bisexual when that was filming. That was great fun. Gentleman Jack, going to Shibden Hall and meeting Saran Jones and writing that piece up, that was fantastic as well. And all the issues that we did with Rose and Rosie, they were always really great fun. They're such a wonderful couple, and we're always so generous with their time. So I mean, I can't pick a favorite, but definitely there's been some real standout moments.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, I interviewed Rose and Rosie about a year ago in this series, and it remains by far the most viewed. I mean, Outnews Global has been going since 2011, and it is overwhelmingly the most viewed content on the website. Even today, when I do the analytics, it's Rose and Rosie interview, which must be a year old, is still in the top 10.
Yeah.
They're fabulous for analytics, aren't they? If nothing else.
Their fans are just absolutely brilliant, and yeah, I really appreciate everything, all their support for Diva over the years.
How do you think, obviously being in the hot seat at Diva, you're at the sort of cutting edge of LGBTQ plus rights, activism and so on. How do you think things, if anything, have changed for women who love women in the years that you've been at Diva?
It's really interesting, because I think simultaneously we've seen much more visibility and social acceptance, perhaps in some ways. But then in other ways, it feels like we're right back where we started, that we're having conversations that I remember having 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like we've moved on enough. If anything, it feels like we're going backwards, particularly with regards to trans rights and trans equality, but also for cisgender women as well. We've seen, I spoke on BBC Breakfast a few years ago about the attack on the couple on a London bus.
Yeah.
We've seen much more violent hate crimes in recent years towards same-sex couples. Racism is a huge issue in the LGBTQI community and obviously in wider society as well. And so, while I want to be optimistic and cheerful and celebrate the wins that we've had, all of those other things make it feel like, we haven't moved that far at all, really.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned racism in the community. And as it happens, Pride in London is not going ahead for various reasons. But when it was going ahead, when it had all the mass resignations of Rema Laflick and so on, amid allegations of racism and marginalisation earlier in the year, and your publisher, Linda Riley, pulled Diva out of Pride in London, was that something you supported?
It was, yeah. I think Linda's always been... she's really been on the money, I think, when it comes to making difficult decisions like that. Obviously being at Pride is something for us, is wonderful. It's wonderful to be part of it, but not under those circumstances. And so, I think it was a bold decision that she took, but a wise one. And I think it gives us the opportunity to look at our own house and to look at our own state of affairs. And we've had conversations over the years about the lack of diversity in the team and how we improve that, how we improve our content, how we can get more voices of color into the magazine. And I'm excited to say that we do have a more diverse team coming in as I leave. That's been really important to make sure that I sort of tick that box before I head on my way. And I'm excited to see how that changes Diva and how it improves it.
Yeah, you mentioned just now Diva's embracing of trans equality. I know that means even before you announced you were going to Mermaids, I know that's very important to you, and how inclusive you've been in bringing trans women into the Diva community, both the putative community, but the actual community, for example, your Facebook groups and so on. Why, for you personally, there are lots and lots of worthy causes out there. Why has the cause of trans rights resonated so resoundingly with you over the years?
To be honest, it hasn't ever felt like a decision that I've made. It's not been that I looked at what we're doing, what we're not doing, and thought, okay, trans, that's the box that we need to tick, or that's what we should be doing. It was just a no-brainer that we were inclusive, that we were trans inclusive. And Diva, for as long as it's been around, since 1994, has been trans inclusive. Okay. You go back to the earliest issues and you'll see trans men, you'll see trans women, you'll see non-binary people, though they might not have used that language at the time. And certainly my predecessors were very trans inclusive and really embraced trans people too. So again, it never felt like it had to be a conversation. It wasn't ever a decision that I made. And I suppose we've been forced over the past few years to be more vocal and to make a statement on that and to justify that. But as I say, it was just always very, very natural, because we're human beings and because trans people are a part of our community, always have been and always will be.
Yeah, which obviously leads on beautifully to your new role as communications manager at Mermaids. Now, unbelievably, there may be people watching this, especially overseas, who don't know what Mermaids is. So can you just give us a brief overview about who they are and what they do?
Sure. So just a little sub-edit the job title you give me there.
Here we go again.
I'm off to be digital engagement manager with Mermaids. So Mermaids are one of the UK's leading charities, and they work with trans, non-binary and gender diverse young people and their families. They've been around since 1995 and they do incredible work. I've really admired what they do for a long time. And when this opportunity came up, I jumped at the chance, really.
Yeah, now the digital engagement manager, obviously, that will either directly or tangentially involve social media. And talking about activism in general now, and not necessarily just trans activism, but by any means, I think one thing that the social media age has done to activism is that it's often characterized by social media pile-ons, ridiculously trite hashtags that can rival Theresa May's Brexit means Brexit, it's nothing, and people and getting asking employers to get rid of employees because these employees might have expressed perfectly lawful views that some people might find unpalatable. And that seems to have replaced measured argument and engagement, even engagement with people whose views you disagree with. Do you think that progress is best served by employing these sort of social media tactics in the modern age, or would you recommend a more measured approach to change hearts and minds?
So it's a very difficult one. I do think that often social media, and in particular Twitter, is a real cesspit. I've yet to come across an instance where someone hasn't expressed an opinion, someone has expressed a counter opinion, and they've gone on to let bygones be bygones. It doesn't really seem to work. It's just a lot of shouting and a lot of upset, really, and it's horrible to sort of watch that play out, and to know that there are young people who are meanwhile questioning, okay, within this context, is it safe for me to come out? Is it safe for me to tell my family who I am, or to sort of live my life as I want to, as I need to? And so I think there is an argument to be made, ironically, for someone going to work in sort of social media, to get offline and to have conversations in real life, because I think being in a room together, that's when you can make more difference. That's when you can access someone's humanity. I hope that with this new role, I can play a part in creating positive, empowering, meaningful content, and to, instead of engaging in these really vitriolic, hateful debates, which I don't think serve any place in modern society, that we can put trans joy in the spotlight and take the microphone off some of those people who would seek to minimize or erase trans joy and trans experiences.
Yeah. Now, only my very, very favorite, much loved guests get to take part in our legendary quickfire round. Are you up for it? You better say yes.
I'm a bit terrified, but okay, sure.
Oh, no, it's just 5 questions, this or that. So the first one, Edinburgh or London?
I'm going to go with Edinburgh. You've got the sea, you've got the
Goodbye,
mountains.
England.
You've got everything you need.
No.
Also, we don't have any Tories here, so.
Do you not? No, well, there we are. Netflix and chill or party till dawn?
Netflix and chill. The people are still waiting on their vaccines. You can't be going out. Yeah. Netflix all the way.
Betty Rubble or Wilma Flintstone?
I see what you've done there. I'll go with Wilma Flintstone, please.
Yeah, nice one. Beach holiday or city break?
I would love to be on a beach right now. I'll go for a beach holiday.
Oh God, yeah. And finally, cheese or chocolate?
Cheese every time.
Oh yeah, baby. Now, Carrie, I adore you. And as I said in my introduction, I will never forget how kind and supportive you were when I took over the editor's role at Outnews Global. LGBTQ plus media will be far poorer without you, and mermaids can count themselves lucky that you're going on board. So it only remains for me to thank you for joining us, and in your future endeavours to wish you much love, luck and happiness. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.